While there had been hope from analysts that the coalition would recover later in the year, the party has seen its approval ratings and polls drop to historic lows. Despite this, the party has managed to blow away expectations, with One Nation now almost on the same level of support as the Liberal Party. What makes things worse for the coalition is that much of the party's instability is now spread to the sub-national level, with projected election wipeouts in South Australia, and the party experiencing three leadership challenges in 3 weeks. So, in this video, we're going to explore what's been happening inside the coalition, why these events have been so appalling for the Libs, and what this could mean next. So, let's take a step back and look at how we got here. At the 2025 federal election, the coalition faced its worst defeat since the Second World War, obtaining only 29% of House seats, losing 15. Since then, the federal party has been in turmoil. Less than 20 days after the election, the coalition split up before reuniting a week later. And a wave of shadow cabinet resignations, a collapse in party discipline and organisation, saw the last 6 months of the party focusing on itself rather than holding the government to account. Most of these issues had been concentrated within the Liberal Party, where factional battles over policy have seen division grow between the Tories, neocons, and moderate factions alike, while the Nationals, the coalition's more conservative and rural partner, has been relatively stable. These issues, which have largely been isolated on the federal level, have slowly trickled into the state and territory level. The first instance of this being strict party discipline in the ACT, where then leader Leanne Carsley suspended two backbenchers, former leader Elizabeth Lee and Peter Kane, for crossing the floor regarding amendments to the ACT sitting calendar year. This saw decision reviewed by a party room vote, and then less than 2 weeks later saw Leanne Carsley and Deputy Leader Jeremy Hanson resign to be replaced by Mark Parton. Early this week in Victoria saw Conservative Liberal Brad Battin rolled by first-term MP Jess Wilson, despite being relatively popular and positioning the party in a more winnable position than his predecessors. This sees the party's third leader in less than 12 months, which could hamper its efforts at the next election. Battin was ousted due to not focusing enough on internal party politics and focusing most of his policy agenda on crime rather than other issues. Lastly, New South Wales Nationals leader DeGold Saunders resigned after it was revealed his daughter was progressing a career in the adult industry. This saw him replace Burganesh Singh in less than 24 hours in an uncontested challenge. And just out today, New South Wales Liberal leader Mark Speakman resigned over losing support from his caucus, as well as a decline in the polls for the party. In South Australia, the Liberals are facing a wipeout in next year's election, while in Tasmania, the Liberals' fate largely lies on whether the Macquarie Point Stadium passes a crucial upper house vote in 2 weeks. On top of all this, the parties face significant membership losses, where more than 200 SA members quit in one day over issues regarding the federal party. While all of this might sound like great news for Labor, this is terrible news for the Liberals, which is seeing their support bleed from all sides. The latest opinion polls from Redbridge sees the coalition sitting at just 24%, 20% being a combination of LNP and Liberals, while 4% going to the Nationals. With this in mind, One Nation is essentially at the same level of support, if not more popular than the Liberals outright. If we convert this data into seats, it would see One Nation to win around 7 seats in the House, or potentially winning 11 in the Senate. However, what might be the biggest blow is that the support among Gen Z and millennial voters has collapsed, with over 50% of Gen Z voters now supporting Labor, while only 10% support the coalition, a result worse than before the election. While a fall in Liberal support has largely been expected, things just shouldn't be getting this bad, considering it's been almost 7 months since the election, with ample time to recover. Part of why the Liberals are continuing to sink is that the party faces two major hurdles. First, restoring voter trust, which has been eroded by instability, controversies, and factional infighting. And second, offering credible policies. Over the last 6 months, the party has largely neglected both. And when it does act, it tends to only focus on one of these issues at a time, rather than addressing both, undermining any chance of recovery. Without addressing both, the party can't really move forwards. If things continue to get worse for the Libs, it could give the Nationals and Conservative Liberals more leverage on policy decisions, something which they've already been winning at, with the Liberals just last week ditching net zero, and Conservatives already working towards the second policy hurdle, immigration. If support continues to fall, it could also preemptively trigger a leadership election. Ousting yet another leader in such a short time risks making the party looking even more divided and chaotic than it already is. However, if it becomes clear that Susan Lee will be more of a burden than a benefit for the party at the next election, it would be better for them to replace her sooner rather than later. If this does happen, the most likely candidate would be neoconservative Andrew Hastie, who is positioned much further to the right of Lee. For this to happen, though, it would not only require the support of both the neocons, Tories, and soft right, but also a combination of non aligned and moderate Liberals to dispose Susan Ley. While this has been out of the question for most of the year, rumours from the party suggest that moderates are losing faith in Ley, which could see their support shift to potential leadership contenders. Another solution is forming a pact or some sort of deal with One Nation before the next election to avoid splitting the Conservative vote and losing preference distributions. While this could work in theory with the Nationals Party, there is no way that the Liberal moderates would allow such a thing, with even some neocons and Tories hesitant to strike a deal. While the federal Liberal Party is shifting right, most of the state and territory divisions are shifting left. This is partly because at federal elections, there are way more rural and suburban seats, especially in Queensland. In comparison, at the state level, especially within the last 10 years, parties increasingly need to win a foothold in the cities to have any hope of forming government. While this isn't a major issue right now, it certainly doesn't help intrastate unity and coordination, and may separate the divisions even further over the coming years. While the Liberal Party could be hitting its lowest levels of support yet, there's no guarantee that things will get better from here, or if the party even recovers. If that's the case, we could be seeing something similar to that of the UK, where support for the Tories has essentially been pushed to the margins, while Reform UK, a right wing populist party, dominates the political discussion. Historically, though, minor parties face significant challenges in translating popular support into seats in the lower house, the place that forms government. As often with these minor parties, their support is spread increasingly thin across the nation, limiting their presence only to the Senate. The news can often feel overwhelming at times, and it's often difficult to understand with inherent biases. That's why we've started our magazine, Snapshots, which aims to make the news accessible to all. We all know a good story when we see one, which is why we've designed our magazine around a monthly theme, so you're able to get a bigger picture of things without feeling overwhelmed. You can check out our link down below to find out more with the discount code SNAP20. I'd also like to thank our TDMG Press Club members on the screen here, who are, as always, is key to ensuring we're able to provide quality content. If you're interested in being part of a fast-growing community, or if you just want to help out a small indie outlet, be sure to join Press Club, where you can gain access to unique benefits. Lastly, I'd like to thank the rest of our team behind this video, and others. Once again, I'm Heath. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.